All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Culz Reviews. We just got done watching Season 1, Episode 1 of Extinct or Alive, a series where Forrest Galante, a wildlife biologist, goes out and tries to find taxon and different species that had been deemed extinct, His grandfather had actually been part of finding the coelacanth. If you want to know more about him, we actually did a book review on his book, so click that link above. So joining me tonight is Andrew.
Hi, I'm Andrew.
And so episode 1 covers the Zanzibar Leopard. And what makes this one really interesting, outside of it's a big cat, it's a big animal, usually most extinct animals. It's not like super mythological or anything like that, not like a mastodon or, a megalania or a dinosaur or anything like that. But it's a leopard. It's stuck on this small island of Zanzibar, and it's highly populated, and it was driven to extinction sort of due to witchcraft. Not witchcraft itself, but maybe the fear of witchcraft.
Right, they wanted to exterminate witchcraft, so that led to a large manhunt
for this
leopard.
And you may be like, what does one have to do with the other? And we're going to talk about it more in an episode by itself. But the short story of it is witch doctors were said to have controlled these leopards and really used them as tools. I mean, we see this in Africa with crocodiles and different animals being used as kind of their, what would you say? What's the good terminology for that? They kind of do their bidding, if we want to say it like that.
Right, they had control over the animal, so if you saw the animal, that means that, there was something bad that was going to happen.
Yeah, and it was, the leopard wasn't there because it was an animal and just doing animalistic things. It was there because it was summoned to be there, to do something on the witch doctor's behalf. And so when, witchcraft kind of got outlawed, when was that? 60s, I think it said.
I think they said 70s.
60s, 70s, something like that. They actually, banned the witchcraft, and then out of fear of the leopards, they went through and exterminated them. I mean, you see that a lot with predators, the wolves in America, thylacine in Australia and Tasmania. So I guess that's the gist of it. So do you want to say anything? We'll get into spoilers towards the end, so if you haven't seen this, we won't spoil it for you off the bat. Anything you want to add?
Well, I mean, to use an animal as your catalyst for some sort of omen or bidding and things like that, to me, that's just kind of fucking ridiculous. It's actually worse, but to me, that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, it's very common, I think, and
it really is. It really is for many sorts of different animals, foxes, cats, etc.
Wolves.
That's why a lot of wolves.
Cats are big, though. Cats are definitely a big. Even in modern day, black cats are usually, I mean, not maybe justly connected to witchcraft, but definitely there's that stereotype.
Walks in front of your path. There's a bad omen. Something terrible is going to happen.
Yeah, and if there's anyone to help us talk about witchcraft, I mean, Andrew, I don't think there's anyone better. Andrew, I guess if you want to explain real quick who your uncle was.
My great step-uncle would have been Ray Buckland. He kind of established the first coven in the United States, New York.
Yeah, so, I mean, this was definitely up, I think, both our alleys, touched upon witchcraft, touched upon animals, and then it was kind of almost like cryptids in a way, but more realistic cryptids. Because obviously Andrew is anti-Bigfoot, or Bigfoot is a suit guy.
It's a suit guy.
See, for me, I mean, I don't know. I've never seen Bigfoot, so I can't say anything.
Neither have I.
But, I mean...
Has anybody seen Bigfoot?
It's possible.
It's possible.
We'll get into that. It's not this video.
Sorry. Right.
Yeah, we're filming outside because we just got done watching. But we want to give you guys a review. So before getting spoilers, I guess we'll talk. Did you enjoy this episode?
It was a great episode.
Yeah.
I loved it, actually. There was quite a few things in it that I was like, oh, that's great. There's that and that and that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's really good to have these type of shows, you know, people that are really passionate about this type of stuff and bring it to the masses, you know. Otherwise, people might not know about it. So I think that's great. Would you rate it? Recommend it?
I would definitely recommend it. I would give it, I mean, as far as a documentary show, I would probably rate it out of 10 out of 10, honestly. And I'll tell you why towards the end with the spoilers, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to not rate it 10 out of 10. It's a great series. We'll do more of these soon. I mean, maybe next week we'll do another one. Next Saturday we'll just watch episode 2 and go from there. But right now we're going to get into spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled, click off. But if you've seen the episode and want to hear what we think about the spoilers, continue watching. So, Andrew, now that we're in spoilers, what do you want to talk about?
Okay, so going into it, they actually found quite a few things that they have never caught on actual camera before.
The Cervaline Genet was the first one.
Yeah, that was really neat. That was really neat. I mean, I would be personally super excited and distracted just
from that. Especially because it wasn't like just a brief footage. They actually caught quite a bit of different footage. Nighttime, daytime, playing, like more playful activity. It was like grooming itself at one point.
It was adorable.
It was adorable.
It was adorable.
And this was kind of like a fake out, but not like, it wasn't meant to be a fake out. It was just like, holy cow, this looks, because it's spotted just like the leopard.
Spotted.
So everyone's like, oh, this is it. And then it's Cervaline Genet. So in one way you're like, oh, it's not the leopard, but it's super cool because there's really, before this, just pictures of it. So that was really cool to have that.
And something that's not even really a feline. It's more closely related to a mongoose.
It's like it's convergently evolved to have similar attributes, like a leopard. And we see this a lot, like, you know, thylacines we brought up earlier, I think.
Yeah, I was talking about the thylacine earlier, and they actually touched upon thylacine a little bit in the
yeah, they actually gave the thylacine a higher probability of finding than the Zanzibar leopard.
Yeah.
And, you know, it makes sense. There's more area for the possibility of a thylacine, less populated area. So I understand that. But yeah, I mean, going back to convergent evolution, you know, the thylacine convergently evolved to look like a dog, but it was a marsupial. Much like the dire wolf convergently evolved to look like a wolf, it actually wasn't a wolf.
Right.
We have a video about that too, link above. So the second thing they recorded was the African civet.
Yep.
Which ended up taking the goat head off the meat tree.
Yep. Also something that hasn't really been captured on video before.
Yeah, which was really neat. And it was kind of funny because you know that just made that civet's day just like, fuck yeah, here's a goat head. I don't have to do no hunting for a couple of days. Like, I will be completely satisfied with this. But what's the big, like, kind of big thing that we're waiting to talk about?
The fact that you caught a leopard on video?
Clearly a leopard. Like,
clearly.
There's no doubt that was a leopard.
No doubt.
I mean, it's not like they were in mainland Africa. They're in Zanzibar. There's no other leopards there.
You can't tell me it's not a leopard.
It wasn't a lion. It wasn't a tiger. Definitely not a jaguar. It's too lightly built, and they're South America, so it's frustrating. Like, we get it. Why you need DNA evidence
to have
you gotta have
irrefutable
proof.
And to me,
it's frustrating, but Andrew gets it, especially being an anti-Bigfoot guy. This is something he always argues for.
You're not gonna put somebody in a leopard suit and walk like that.
No, it's clearly a leopard, and it's really good news that at least one leopard's out there. And you think if there's one, there should be at least a small population.
Yeah, you hope to God. And, you know, the last actual,
95?
To 25 years ago, almost 30 years ago, which is, what's the lifespan of a leopard? 20
I
years?
think they're 10, 15 years. So that shows that at least in the span of the one that was the last one confirmed killed to this video, there's a breeding population out there somewhere.
And that kill was in the 30s? 27?
No,
1927 was the taxidermied one?
The taxidermied one was 27. It's the only taxidermied specimen anywhere in the world. But the last confirmed one was 95, I want to say. I guess I didn't really...
You're right.
It was in the 90s, though. But yeah, the only mounted one in the museum was 27.
1927.
Yeah. And it looks different. I guess we didn't really explain what the Zanzibar... It looks like a leopard, obviously, because it's a leopard. It's a little bit smaller because of the island dwarfism.
Right, they have the island dwarfism, and they have more actual spots as opposed to...
where the spots kind of have more of a circle and darker, these ones are smaller, more closed circles that are kind of a red tan.
Right, it's like a polka dot.
Yeah, and they're longer tails, like a little bit shorter legs, but it looks like a leopard. I guess it would kind of be the difference if we talk about the extinct Caspian tiger versus a Bengal tiger, where the Bengal, I mean, everyone knows what that looks like. The Caspian would just be a little bit more fur on its face. So, no, I mean, this was a great episode. And another reason we wanted to watch this right away, outside of wanting to watch the entire series, is we've been wanting to get back in Tales of the Craft. And there's a lot of people doing witchcraft stuff. And as you guys know, while we do some of the big stuff, and we will with witchcraft as usual, we always like to focus on stuff that's not getting the story out there.
Right.
And one thing Andrew really enjoys is talking about tools that are used in the craft. So we've done a little bit with the Ouija board, but we thought, well, let's talk about this leopard, because that's a really fascinating story. It was a tool of witchcraft.
Right.
And it's kind of intertwined in a way I don't think any other animal is. Without witchcraft, and it might just be a leopard, it would probably still be alive. Not even, I mean, it's still alive, clearly. But it would never have been deemed extinct, you'd think. Because, I mean, you see them in India, leopards. You see them in Africa, mainland Africa. So, yeah, we're going to do that episode. At some point, we'll probably just go to the museum or the Denver Zoo and use either an Amur leopard, which is from Asia, or the African leopard, because they have those at the Denver Zoo. But we'll give you a little bit of episode, so a little tease there. We also filmed an animal in Colorado that's not extinct, but it is on the endangered list. Me and Mariah set out to go look for it, and we actually captured 2 different morphs of it, so that was fascinating. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think we pretty much covered the fact that there is a leopard in Zanzibar that you have to have some sort of DNA evidence for.
Yeah, I mean, it stinks because it's clearly a leopard. We got to respect it because they're being scientific. But, I mean, it's clearly a leopard.
Clearly.
We'll put a link to it in the description.
You can see the video.
It's a leopard.
There's no way there is anything else close to it that you could call something else besides a freaking leopard.
At least on that island. There is nothing else on that island. I could understand if they were mainland Africa, in the Congo somewhere that didn't have a leopard, where, yeah, a leopard could stray out. I mean, you look at the Cape Lions that had gigantic environments, but it's on an island.
It's on an island.
Andrew's upset.
I'm very upset.
This is the most upset I've seen him since we forced him to watch the Patterson Gimlin footage. But that's because he doesn't believe in that. So I think this is great. We'll do more of these episodes, and maybe we'll go try to hunt some quote-unquote extinct animals here. Growing up in Colorado, though grizzly bears have been hunted to extinction quite a bit ago, long before either of us were born, at least here in Colorado, you hear stories down in the San Juans that hunters who have hunted there are coming across these grizzly bears.
You see black bears all the time.
Yeah, we see lots of black bears. They're pretty common even in cities up in Colorado. So for people to say there's grizzlies, hey, maybe it's worth checking out. We'll go down there for a couple weeks and maybe camp out and see what we find.
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun. If you want to see that, let us know in the comments below. If you want to see more Culz reviews, this time you'll have to click the link in front of my face. Usually I'm over there. Oh no. Click that link over Andrew if you want to see more about what we're doing here at Culz Paranormal. And don't forget to hit that like and give us a subscribe. And don't forget to hit that link to change that bell notification from personalized to all, so you get all notifications, especially because last week we did 4 videos. You might have missed them or missed a couple. Go check them out and let us know when you watch that video, what else could it be but a leopard.